Oh, where are we here? Yeah. Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to Alicia's fabulous Thrive group tonight. Thank you for having me in this group, Alicia. I love sharing in this group. So my name's Leanne and I'm a Feng Shui practitioner, and we have a wholesale importing retail Feng Shui business as well in Queensland, Australia. So I'm so excited to share with you tonight because we're going to be talking about the festive season or the energy of December, or any which way you look at that. Okay, I'm going to talk a bit more about that, but let's jump into it now and let's get into how this energy is going to work for you. So I'm just going to share my screen so you can see. Okay, so we are talking, we're talking December energy. Okay, we're going to be talking December energy. So as I said, my name's Leanne Carius. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm in Queensland, and we have I'm a Feng Shui practitioner. So I love sharing with you on all things that are Feng Shui. So the first thing I want to talk about tonight, and I want to stress this very clearly to everybody, is I know we've said Christmas and I know we've said festive season, but for me, it is about whatever occasion or whatever you share. It doesn't necessarily have to be Christmas, where, I believe we're a global world. We are one community. And for me, it's about harmony and joy. So for me, the meaning of Christmas started as a very young child, that the only time we got to see our grandparents and our extended family was pretty much Christmas time. We would gather up one or two presents that could fit in the car, and then we drive hours and hours and hours and hours to spend hours with my grandparents on both my mum and dad's side. So we only saw our cousins and family on that occasion. So for me, Christmas is about connecting. Christmas is about being with family. And today it is still what I class Christmas as. So that's how I see it. But for me, it is about harmony and joy. So when I talk tonight about gathering spaces or where to put things, just open yourself up to what you could do in those spaces and how that could work for you, okay? Because it will be different for all of you what you are going to be doing December, January. And, it's going to be different how you celebrate. And I understand that totally. So I've just used a generalized phrase, I guess, for tonight. But generally for me, it's about harmony and joy. It's about gathering with the people that we love and being in a space where we're connected, where we feel loved. That's what being with them all is about. And I, like so many of you, cannot wait to get my son and his partner home for Christmas. So anyway, I can't talk about that anymore because it's rather emotional thing for me. Really, it is. So let's get into this now. So just remember too, this is not your home Bagua. Okay, your home will have its own specific chart. And to get that, we need to do some compass readings and some directions, and we need to do some work around where the energy is for your home. What I'm going to give to you tonight is the general annual energy. Okay, now you can use this energy. You will be able to use this energy. And if at any time you feel the energy is just not quite right and you need some support, please reach out to me, because we want to make sure that the holidays and the festive season work for you. So stuck chi is where you just want to throw in the towel and you just want to give up. Okay, it's heavy, it's stale, it's strong. It just doesn't move in your space. Now, what that is because chi is energy in essence, okay? It is the energy that we can touch, we can feel. So the idea is that chi is like a breeze or a stream that flows through your space, all right? And it needs to get everywhere. And in some spaces, we don't want to use that energy because the energy combinations aren't the best for us this year. But in other areas, we want to embrace that energy. We want to use that energy because it's so good for us. So, okay, so that's what we want to do. Okay, now, this here is for the annuals. Now, where the crosses are where I suggest it's not as good to have a gathering or your giving tree, or where to share the presents and that type of thing. Where the ticks are, absolutely, those spaces will be great for you, okay? Now, I get it. In some homes, you have to be able to use those areas because we can't put our tables and our gathering of our family and friends anywhere else. So, and I'm going to talk about how we work with that energy. But when we are looking at the areas that are the best for us, there where we've got the south, the center, and the west are very good energies for us. Okay. Now, something I talk a lot about, and I've talked a lot about in my Facebook page and different places lately, is about human luck, okay? So, you know, it's like this poor Santa Claus. Mrs. Claus took his clothes to the dry cleaners. They got shrunk. Now, he can choose to have a conniption over it and to lose his cool, or he can go, okay, what is my solution? Human chi works like that. Human chi is the way you react to something. It's the way you prepare for something. It's how you grab the opportunities that are coming your way. It's how you take on those opportunities. So make sure that you are looking at how to make those happen for you, okay? Now, gathering spaces. Here in Australia, we gather pretty much in the backyard or the beach. You know, we do the fine dining if we don't have kids that want to splash in the pool and do that sort of thing. So think about where you're going to be sitting at home. If you're using the backyard, then just use the spaces that I'm talking about that are your pergolas, your patios, your backyards. If it's in your house, then think about what you're doing around those. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, before you start all the planning, think about who's attending your gathering, how you want everyone to gather, and what you want them to be doing when they're there and gathered, okay? That's really, really important. So some of the best spaces for you to gather this year for December are the west and the south and the center, like I mentioned, but you can also use the southwest. But I want you just to be careful with the southwest because we do have some conflict chi in there, and we've got some wisdom chi. So they may bounce out, but we need to make sure we bring a little bit of fire element into that space, okay? Another good thing is to remember how much you're going to share over Christmas. You know, it's a time where we kind of go, the old saying is, you know, no politics, no religion. I think COVID fits into that too now, and I don't talk a lot about that in any form on any of my pages or anything because I feel it's such a personal thing, and I think it just ties in with religion and with politics. So it's something that we won't have at our conversation table, and I think for so many families it's probably a good idea to tie it up in there. Also, any grievances you've had before, like think about how you want that to go for you. If you're just reconnecting with family that you haven't seen for a while, or that it's been difficult and things like that, make sure you work with that human chi. Choose spots that are going to enhance the energy for you and make a beautiful gathering. So I certainly wouldn't choose the southwest of your home if you're going to be hi Alicia, if you're going to be in any way, shape, or form having to deal with some family or friends or just neighbors or anyone that's got a little bit of energy that's a bit or got a grievance that they want to share. It's just not the time, is it? So what else do I want to share with you on that one? Just let me check my notes because I had to make notes because we've just moved out of our big house, and I've spent 2 days chasing our chooks who won't stay in our new house. So they've been testing me. So the southeast is an area that you really don't want to have those gatherings if you can avoid it. It's got the Empress Chi in there for December. It's also got conflict Chi. Now, the wood element will settle the earth element a little bit for you if you are into the elements of feng shui. But I think that it's an area I would rather see people don't use for their gatherings for Christmas, or even put your giving tree or your Christmas tree, or just with sharing time. I wouldn't use that space. So I try and avoid the southeast of your home if you could, and use other areas that are going to be far better for you. So make sure that the southeast, you don't have any fire elements. So don't go and put Santa Claus suit in there. Don't go and put a Christmas tree full of lights and glitter and decorations that are red, because that's not going to help the chi in that space. You want to keep it quieter and more settled. I had a client who actually her tree was in the area last year where the Empress Chi was, but what she did was, it was a tree that had metal elements on it. It had tinsels and melted metal to settle down the chi. And then what they did was they brought the presents out to where they were gathered, and they actually shared them from there, because it was a really good energy where her dining table was. So just think about, it's about pre-planning how you're going to work with that energy and that. So the other thing that for me is, of course, your letters of love, which are your Christmas cards, your messages from people leading into Christmas. So there's some really great spaces for those. And one of the places that I love this year for these, because of the fire element color of them, is in the east. Now, the east has got our romance in it. It's got our energy in there for what we've got going on. It's got some health, though. It's got a little bit of health in there that we need to be careful of. So I wouldn't put too much fire element in that space, but definitely it's a really lovely space. It also represents our elders and our family. So it's a really nice space to be putting in that. Now, again, if you've got someone who's unwell that's coming to spend time with you, then I wouldn't sit them in the east or in the north this year, okay? I wouldn't put them in those spaces. But your letters of love, I think, are beautiful in that space. If I wanted to think about the south, actually, the south would be another great spot to have those, because the south is all about you, what people perceive you, your reputation that people perceive of you on the outside. So I think it would be really lovely for your Christmas cards to be in the south, where you've got these beautiful letters of love coming from people saying how much they love you, how much they respect you, what they think of you. And that just kind of will boost up that energy. So probably the south might be actually even a better spot for you to do that. So if you've got a small space, then I wouldn't overdo the Christmas decorations or the gathering. If you can help it, make it a little simpler, because what happens is the chi gets stuck when it's got no room to move. So you could be sitting in the most awesome center of your home, and we've got heaven chi, and we've got romance, and we've got creativity, all in that space. So if you're sitting in that space but it's overcrowded, then chi can't flow. And if chi can't flow, it tends to irritate. So you want it to be able to flow. So think of the size of the space that you've got and how you want that to work for you. Hi, Alicia. How you want that to work for you, okay? But I would think that for a smaller space, have a smaller amount of things that are there, and it can be just as beautiful and as welcoming and gathering and sharing as something that has a lot more. I'm a bit of an over the top kind of Christmas girl. I have lots and lots of like the little animated toys. My thing was every year, my dad and I had this thing that every year we would buy a animated Christmas decoration, and it would, they'd either sing or do rock and roll or Christmas trees or whatever it was, big Santas and everything. So I actually have a lot of those, but I found the last couple of years, probably also because Dad's not with us now, but probably because we haven't had as big a space, I don't bring as much out. So just think about the size of the space that you've got when you're doing that. I'm just checking for messages here. So the locations. Okay, so let me go through the locations for you that I want to talk about. So as I mentioned, the South is awesome for Christmas this year. It has got wisdom, a victory chi coming in there. It's got great energy and it's got current wealth. So think about what you can do in that space. And if you've got an area where you can actually gather at the same time, this would be awesome. So a traditional tree here would work. But if you have a tree that's got like things like the blue, like you know how you get really different colored trees these days and different colored decorations and that, bring in some of the water element as well, because we want to generate that with the victory chi, but then also add a little touch of fire. So it might be your Christmas cards. You might do your tree all in your beautiful pastels, your blues, your black can go in there as well. And then put in your fire element, just to your Christmas cards and things like that. That would be really lovely in that space. The Southwest is an area that it's not the best place to place a tree, but if you're going to, then just be careful, because you want to put some fire elements, so some red decorations and things like that on there. But you've also got some victory chi in there. So, and it's water. So if you're putting a tree in there, you want to make sure you put some fire element decorations, like red Christmas decorations, oranges, purples, those sort of colors in there, because we don't want, and it represents the female of the house. So we don't want you feeling anxious and anxiety before you even get to the day to share, which you can do. We can end up in that space as well. So the other thing area is the West. Now, the West this year, it's got our Heaven Chi as well as our Current Wealth Chi. So it's a really nice area. It also represents children. So it would be really nice to have a tree in that space. Just be careful, though, that you don't put too much energy in there. It's wise not to put too much energy in there. But a tree in that space in the West would be really, really lovely. That would be really nice, actually. So you'd want to use some metal ornaments in there with a touch of red fire element again as well in there as well. So that would help with that energy of the current wealth. The Northwest is an area I wouldn't use. I wouldn't use the Northwest if you can avoid it. It's not good chi. It's got the Empress chi in there. It's got our lost chi. So I know it represents the patriarch, so they may be really having a challenge this month. So I wouldn't be adding more into that area. I would really avoid that if you could, the Northwest. And we don't want any fire element in the Northwest either. So you don't want to be doing barbecues outside or fire pits or spits or anything like that in the Northwest. Oh, sorry, the Northwest. I keep saying Northeast. I'm talking about the Northwest. And you don't want to be putting in fire element decorations, so candles and lots of lights. You don't want any of that stuff in there, okay? The North this year is our unwellness chi. So it's not the best space for us this year. And this month we've got the multiplier chi. So you want to make sure that you try and avoid that a little bit. Don't have any trees in there that have got lots of fire element decorations and reds and candles and that type of thing. So you want to keep that out of there. But you want to also not really put someone there that's unwell this year. It's not one of the better spaces. If you have to use this space because this is what you've got, then use a tree a bit similar to this one that I've got here that's got the metal element, the whites, the golds, and that type of thing. Go with those sort of colorings and put that in there, and that will work. And of course, you can put things like your hulu in that space. or have them carry a hulu, a wind chime to help break the chi down. So the northeast this month the northeast has been beautiful all year. And the one time we want to use the northeast for gathering and getting everyone together, it's not the best energy. So it's another energy this month that I wouldn't use as much of. If you have to use it, no fire element in that space. And also I'd be bringing in things like, because you want to look after the lost energy that's in there. So things like your blue rhino will work there, your elephants will work there, a sense of sign of protection, and put those in that space. But certainly no fire element into that space for Christmas this year. So I would go with, again, your trees that are, I would bring in some blues and blacks and those pastel colors and things like that that represent the water element, to subdue down the lost energy. In the east this month, you've got your traditional Christmas tree would be lovely in here. You just want to make sure, again, that you don't have any fire element energy on that tree, because we don't want that. We have got our unwellness chi in there, and it represents our elders, as I mentioned earlier. So, and just be careful of, so you want to bring in some your metal energy. So again, similar to the tree that's there in the picture, but you don't want to lose the creativity and the romance that's coming in there. So it'll be a little bit of a bouncing, thing. So, okay, tree goes up in the east. Awesome. That's really lovely. Yeah. And it's lovely because it represents our elders. So it's a really nice space. The east, the east is a beautiful space, and it's, if you look after the chi that's in there, it will look after you. So the southeast, again, I would rather not have anything in the southeast. I just really think it's an area that's just not going to bring you the best of chi. But if you have to use it, as I said before, no fire element, bring in something like this tree, and you might want a touch of red just to bring the conflict chi down. Hi, Leanne. I'm just looking at a message. So, hi, Leanne, how is the chi in the east for gathering and for the chi in the east is really, really nice. It has got the unwellness chi in there. But if you bring in a tree that's got the metal, like similar to this one that's in the picture, that's got metal element, that's got whites and things like that, it's going to help you. And if you've got a live tree, that's going to support the energy of the wood element that we've got in there. So, get a live tree if you can and do the metal energy with it, and it will help to balance it out. Put your hulu in there or something like that, but no fire element, no candles, no lots of reds and those sort of colors. Okay, that's not going to help. But the more getting tongue-tied now, the more wood you have in the east, the less the energy is of the unwellness, but it is controlling the energy of the unwellness. So you don't want to control it. So you want the metal element to reduce that energy. So yes, yay for the east. I know, I love the eastern. Well, our space is in the east now, and so we need to gather in the east. So it really will be about thinking, how can we work that energy? So yeah. So now, as I said, do put your Christmas cards. I think the south would be lovely for Christmas cards. If you're going to put them in the east, just remember that if you've got a lot of red on the cards, you might want to pop those just somewhere else, and then use the other Christmas cards that you've got to place in the east. So yeah, you can do it that way. So but the best places for gathering this year and for Christmas trees is the south and the central area. The west and the east can be used as well. So the other thing that, so just again, reiterating that we don't, don't use the northeast. I don't know why I've got a tick on there. I must have missed that one. Just to remember again, this is not your home bagua. This is working with the annuals. If you would like some help in knowing what the other elements are that you should be using in your home bagua, please reach out to me. But this is just your annual energy. The other thing to do is make sure once you've brought the Christmas tree out, now remember, your Christmas decorations, your tree, and everything you use to gather and feast and give has been away for 12 months. It may be stored in your southeast of your house, so it's got stagnant energy. So make sure you go through and you cleanse it. You give it a good smudge. You can use a sage, you can use basilia, you can use sound, whatever way you like to do that, then please go through and do that, okay? Make sure that you go through and you cleanse the tree, cleanse the space that it's going in. You know, I always give thanks that we've reached another Christmas and we are able to put our tree up. And this year, I truly hope, I have everything crossed that for all of us that we get to be with our families that we haven't been with for so long. So that is sort of my wish for Christmas this year. So make sure that you give it all a good cleanse, you know, give everything a good wipe over because it's been away, it's been put aside for a year and it's had some stagnant chi around it. So that's really, really important. And then your gifts. Think about your gifts as well. So your gifts that are going under your tree, also think about where we've got the fire element and where we don't want it. So choose colors that represent the areas of your home that you're going to place the trees in. And, you know, if we're talking about using the water element, then get some beautiful Christmas ribbon that's got the blues and the, you know, all those sort of colors. Excuse me, I'll just grab a drink. Oh, all those beautiful colors. There are some beautiful decorations out there. So think about the gifts and how you're wrapping them as well when you're placing them under the tree and you're gifting them. So yeah, that's really important as well. So now I've got a newsletter coming out in a couple, I think at the next week or the week after, and it's going to have all this information on it. So if you would like a copy, please just PM us your, you know, pop in the comments or send us your, sorry, talking too much. Send us how we can connect with you and we will make sure that you get a copy of it. But it will have everything that I've shared tonight, plus some more that I haven't been able to share tonight. But it's got all the information about where to place your tree, the colors, the decorations, the best gathering spaces, and all that sort of thing for you as well. So if you would like to get a copy of that, please just let us know in the comments if you'd like one, and or just reach out and just let us know if you'd like a copy, and we will make sure that you get a copy of that as well. Now, I do always have, as always, my free 30-minute free Chi Chat, and the link will be in the comments for you. So if you're unsure about anything to do with the energy for your home in December, and you know that you're going to have a full house and you want to be sure, please reach out, because I am more than happy to have a chat to you about how that works for you if you're not sure, and the best way to do that. So it's a free 30 minutes. There is no obligation. It is simply just a way that I can share with you how to refine a little bit more and give you a little bit more detail if I haven't given you enough and you're not sure. Oh, yes, the idea of the thanking and blessing the tree. Yes, I think it's so important because it's where we're going to gather, okay? It's where we're going to be connected. And I just think when it's been away for a year and it's, you know, depending where it's been locked away in, and it's gathered chi, then we want to make sure that the chi is welcoming for everybody within our space. So thank you so much for having me again. I'm so excited to be here. I love this group and the energy of it. So thank you. I hope you have a wonderful week. And I am going to come on next month, and I'll talk about the 2022 energy, because it's the water tiger energy next year. And so I want to give you a little get ready what's coming and what's going to be happening for 2020 as well. So, but please have a, you know, enjoy the decorating process, enjoy getting your tree up. And as I said earlier, it's about harmony and it's about joy. And I think this year it's about being thankful, because if we can all get together with those we love, that's what we are all aiming for this year. So have a, you're welcome, Alicia. So have a beautiful evening and happy feng shuiing. And I look forward to sharing with you again, but please reach out if you need any support at all. And we'll make sure the link's in the comments for you so that you can grab one of those free 30 minutes if you need some help in any way. We're here. Happy feng shuiing. Thank you for having us. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Oh, thank you, Olivia.